Welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another reading of A Starstruck Legacy. This will be Chapter 9, Everything's on Fire. Here's the summary. Hosu's under attack. That sucks. But Izuku and Kathleen are there. That doesn't suck. The moment Stain walked out of the portal, Tomura clenched his fists and slammed on the bar. Gosh darn it! Why the heck does he have to be so difficult? Calm yourself, Tomura. All for One's voice spoke through the TV. No! This whole villainy thing is making me mad. First, the USJ goes to the dogs, and now this. Why the heck can't I just kill people? Now, Tomura. It isn't too late for you to turn things around. All you need to do is channel those destructive impulses into something constructive. Sure, the hero killer won't join your cause, but that doesn't mean you can't use his image to your advantage. Tomura scratched his chin with his fingers and thumb. Yeah. If I cause mayhem in the same place he does his work, then people will think we're working together. Excellent idea, Tomura. Doctor, how many nomu do we have available? We have 3 completed nomu in the lab, the doctor answered. But if we brought one out of those nomu in the basement... How many times must I tell you, Doctor? Those 7 nomu stay in the basement. I'm saving them for my own personal enjoyment. Tomura heard All for One eagerly lick his lips through the feed. He really hoped his sensei wasn't referring to what he thought he was referring to. Izuku and Kathleen immediately turned to the fiery explosion that sounded off in the distance, then the second one that came from the other side of town, and they certainly didn't expect the third one to be right in between those two. What's happening? Izuku yelled. Everything's on fire, kid, Kathleen calmly answered. But don't worry, I have a plan. We both use an order to put out the flames across the city, but since our quirks only have so much range, we'll have to split up. But what if I run into the villains causing those fires? Then I give you permission to use your quirk to fight back, but only if you have to. Izuku nodded determinedly. I won't let you down, Star. I know you won't, Kathleen grinned. All air within 3 miles of me will slowly cool to 60 degrees. All air within 5 miles of me will slowly cool to 60 degrees, Izuku repeated as he charged up one for all to 50% and dashed off in the opposite direction of Kathleen. As he ran down roads and maneuvered around obstacles at breakneck speeds, the world became a blur of sights and colors. He could barely comprehend what was in front of him, so he was thankful danger sense alerted him when he was about to hit into a wall, and gear shift let him turn on a dime. I still don't like that you're using my quirk, Kudo huffed. Ninth hasn't mastered turning yet. It took 8th half a decade for his perception to catch up with his speed. Would you rather Ninth turn into a wall paste? Yoichi asked. No, you wouldn't, Hikage answered for him. I've tried wall paste before, it doesn't taste good. But listen, Ninth, danger sense can do more than help you dodge hazards. It also points you towards perilous situations. For example, buildings that are burning particularly stronger than the rest. At Hikage's advice, Izuku focused on the blaring warning signs in his head. They seemed to be a little louder a few streets down from where he was, so that's where he went. Izuku came to a halt in front of an apartment that was noticeably more on fire than the others. Even though the fire was quickly dying due to new order, he knew he had no time to waste. I have clairvoyance's quirk, he said as his eyes glowed red, and he mentally searched the inside of the apartment. He memorized the rooms containing people inside and immediately leapt into action, zooming from floor to floor, door to door, picking up every tenant and evacuating them outside. With his superhuman speed, it took only 2 minutes. Huh? What happened? One of the tenants asked, still a little dazed from being picked up and carried out of the building at near incomprehensible speeds. It's all right, Izuku answered. I evacuated you from the apartment, and the fire should be out within a second. Try not to go back inside until the building's been cleared by the fire department. All right, thank you. Are you a new hero? I'm Legacy, sir. I'm just starting out, but you're welcome. I hope to... Scream! Izuku was cut off as he heard an ear-piercing roar from above him. He tilted his head to see a winged, pale yellow creature with its brain sticking out. He was currently crashing into a building, causing it to shake violently. What the heck is that thing? Izuku couldn't help but yell. What the heck is that thing? Kathleen couldn't help but yell as she was met face to face with a similar creature, except this one was colored a pale blue, with long, lanky arms he was currently using to rip up a newsstand. I assume you're the reason for all these fires I've been forced to put out." The creature didn't respond, instead choosing to lunge in the hero's direction with a fearsome roar. Kathleen cut that roar short with a swift punch to the face. "You're a lot tougher than you look," Kathleen remarked as the creature got up from her attack. "But guess what? So am I." The creature threw an extended arm at Kathleen, only for the hero to catch it and use her elbow to slam down on his arm, earning a satisfying crunch. The creature didn't look deterred, however, as its broken arm quickly snapped back into place and caught Kathleen off guard with a strike to the abdomen, who was surprised at just how much weight was behind that arm. "Regeneration, huh? I can deal with that." Kathleen ran up to the creature and delivered an uppercut to its jaw, launching it at least 50 feet in the air. She quickly jumped after it and delivered a flurry of devastating punches across its body in midair before suplexing it to the ground. "Oh gosh darn it!" Kathleen cursed as she finished her attack and witnessed the regeneration undo all her hard work. Granted, the regeneration worked slower this time, but there were lives to be saved, and Kathleen couldn't waste her time fighting an opponent who just wouldn't go down. The creature lunged to attack again, but was interrupted by a fireball to the face. Kathleen turned to see a bulky man with red hair and a small flame emerging from his hand. He was accompanied by a teenage boy with red and white hair and a scar on one eye. "Thanks for the save," Kathleen complimented. "You a hero around here?" The red-haired man looked offended by that statement. "Of course not! Do you not recognize me?" Have I worked with you before?" "No, but you should know who I am. I'm the number 2 hero, Endeavor." "Really?" Kathleen squinted her eyes. She didn't see the resemblance. "He looks different because his flame beard extinguished following a rapid temperature shift," the dual-haired boy clarified. "Shoto!" Kathleen pictured a flaming beard on the man and immediately recognized him. "Oh, Endeavor! Sorry about the beard. Had to get rid of the fires." Endeavor scoffed. "Great, as if one blonde buffoon wasn't enough." "You're right, it wasn't enough. That's why I'm here." "Guys, the nomu's getting away," Shoto pointed out. Kathleen quickly caught up to it and locked it in a chokehold, which it struggled to escape from. "You said these things are called nomu?" she asked. "Yes." Endeavor nodded as he created a flame spear in his hand. "They're genetic experiments created by the League of Villains." "Well, I'm glad I can finally put a name to this ugly mug of a face." "The nomu is unable to move." Kathleen dusted off her hands as she backed away from the now frozen creature. "All right, I'll rip off its limbs and you use your flames to cauterize the wounds so they can't grow back," she instructed. "I could have thought of that," Endeavor mumbled. "Then why didn't you do that for the last nomu you fought?" Shoto questioned. "Shoto!" he yelled as he spewed jets of flame at the now open wounds. When Kathleen released her order, the nomu still tried to cause destruction, but there wasn't much you can do when you're just a head and a torso. "He kinda looks like a fish out of water when he's flopping around like that," Kathleen chuckled as she restrained the nomu from movement. "Star, this is no laughing matter," Endeavor grunted. "Yeah, right. Tell that to my boys." "Speaking of your boys, aren't you supposed to have an intern at your side?" "We split up to cover more ground and put out more fire. I trust he's doing fine." "The exact opposite of what Star just said," Izuku screamed as he single-handedly held up a building from collapsing. "Calm down, kid," Banjo said in as soothing a voice as he could muster, which wasn't much. "You wouldn't want Black Whip to leak out by mistake. As cool as a quirk as it is, you haven't had any training with it." I know. I just wish there was something I could do about this creature. He's causing damage faster than I can fix it, and now I'm stuck holding up a building after he crashed through the load bearer." "Can't you just unbreak the building?" En asked. "New Order can't rewind time. At least, I don't think it can. I'll try later. For now, I have to find a way to put this building down safely, which wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't so dang heavy." "Gee, if only you had some kind of reality warping quirk to easily solve that problem," En snarked. "You don't have to be so passive-aggressive," Izuku thought as he said out loud, "The building and everything in it is made of foam." With a huge weight off his shoulders, Izuku slowly and carefully set the building down on its side before turning it back to normal. Thankfully, the building had been evacuated beforehand, so he didn't have to worry about anyone inside getting crushed by its rapidly shifting furniture. What he did have to worry about was the brainless creature who was currently lifting a blue Corvette off the ground, preparing to drop it from a high distance and kill the 2 blue-skinned people inside. "Ah!" Izuku quickly used float to fly up to the car and pull the 2 passengers out of their seats before safely depositing them on the ground. "Aw man, our car," one of the blue men lamented. "Now I'm a blue dabba-dee-dabba-die," said the other. "Don't worry, I'll get it." Izuku caught the car as the creature dropped it to the ground and placed it next to the blue men. "There, only slightly Suddenly the creature wrapped its talons around his throat and flew off. "What the heck is he doing?" Izuku asked as he prepared to rip himself from the creature's grasp. "I think he's trying to strangle you, but since you're using full cowling, he can't break through your enhanced durability," Yoichi explained. "Huh. It actually doesn't feel too bad." The creature tightened its grip, resulting in a loud pop from Izuku's neck joint. He suddenly felt more relaxed than ever before. "Oh yeah, right there. I keep most of my stress in my lower neck." "Ninth, this isn't a massage," Nana scolded. Sorry. Izuku used 60% of One for All to break free from the creature's grasp. He then flew up onto its back and inspected the exposed brain. "The brain seems like the obvious weak point here. What if I just..." Izuku poked a part of the brain, which caused the creature's leg to twitch. More intrigued than ever, he poked a different part of the brain, which made the creature form a fist and punch the air. It was at this moment Izuku realized he could control the creature's actions by poking its brain in various spots. Guys, are you thinking what I'm thinking? "Let's ratatouille this sucker!" Banjo yelled to the cheers of agreement from the other vestiges. Izuku poked his fingers around the brain in an attempt to make it land safely, but the creature did a loop-de-loop instead. "That didn't work. What about over here?" Izuku poked at a different spot, which made it do a barrel roll. "How about this spot?" The creature performed a perfect corkscrew. "Right here? Tail slide. This spot in the back? Wing over. Everywhere all at once? Chandelle. Oh, come on! Why is it so hard to land a person?" "Have you just tried crashing it?" asked Yoichi. "I have, but I ended up doing a cobra maneuver." Suddenly, Izuku's phone rang in his pocket. He picked it up and recognized the caller ID as Kathleen's. "Hello? Legacy, what are you doing right now?" "I'm trying to land a flying creature with an exposed brain. What about you?" "I'm watching someone try to land a flying creature with an exposed brain. Nice cobra maneuver, by the way." "You can see me? Where are you?" Izuku peered down at the streets and quickly noticed a red, white, and blue dot in his radar a few blocks from his location. "Never mind, I see you." "Good. I need you to get off the nomu and fly down here. Your mom would kill me if she saw you riding one of those things." "But what about the creature?" "Don't worry about it. I'm with Endeavor right now, and he's lining up a shot that'll hopefully take the thing down. Just get over here so you don't get caught in the crossfire." "Whatever you say." Izuku charged up One for All to springboard off the nomu to land right next to his mentor. "All right, the coast is clear." Star shot a thumbs up to the flame hero. "Take the shot, Endeavor." Endeavor silently obliged as he threw a bolt of fire at the nomu. In a split second, the bolt pierced its wings and sent him falling like an anvil into a random alleyway. "There, that should be the last of them." "I hope that didn't land on anything important," Izuku lamented. 5 minutes earlier. Tenya Ida was grateful for the sudden distraction that let him ditch his mentor. Sure, he wasn't too enthused that the entire city was on fire, but he decided to count his blessings instead of his faults. Besides, he couldn't afford to care about whatever was going on around him. He only had one goal in his mind that night. He wanted to kill the hero killer, to give that homicidal maniac a taste of what he did to his brother, to make him understand the pain he felt inside, and he would not rest until that goal was accomplished. "Help!" Ida turned down when he heard a scream from a nearby alleyway. Turning the corner, his eyes widened as he was met with the hero killer standing over the unmoving body of number 7 hero, Gentle. But Ida couldn't care less about who the hero killer stood over. He had a goal to accomplish. "Stain!" he shouted. The hero killer slowly crooked his head in Ida's direction, his glare deepening at the sight of the boy. "A child in a hero costume. This does not concern you. Leave now, and you shall be spared." "I assure you, I am no child in a hero costume." Ida stepped forward as he revved his engines. "I am Tenya Ida, brother of the turbo hero Ingenium. You have ruined his career, his livelihood, his life, and for that you shall..." "Spare me the talk." Stain darted toward Ida like a bullet, his katana blades outstretched. Ida managed to avoid the brunt of the attack, but his cheek was still grazed. "You come here seeking revenge for your brother? Pathetic." Stain's tongue touched the tip of his blade, and Ida fell limp to the ground. A true hero would have prioritized the rescue of those already in danger. He pointed his katana at Gentle. Not that I can blame you for not wanting to save a glory chaser like him. Stain menacingly loomed over Ida's body as he prepared to bring down his blade. I suppose it matters not. You heroes are both fake to the core. You shall be cold for the betterment of hero society. Goodbye. Ida tightly shut his eyes as he awaited his inescapable fate. He mentally apologized to his brother as a tear rolled down his cheek. But before Stain could move another muscle, a yellow nomu with pierced wings came out of nowhere and fell on Stain, reducing his body to a bloody smudge in the alleyway, and killed him instantly. Ida may have felt the paralysis wear off on Stain's death, but he found himself in too shocked of a state to move a muscle, and judging by the lack of moving sounds from behind him, it seemed like Gentle agreed as well. He's dead, Ida flatly stated. It appears so, Gentle responded. As soon as he felt the news sink in, Ida shot up and performed a victory dance. Whoa! Yeah, he's dead! Alright, take that, Stain! Well, I'm glad you're taking the news so well. Gentle got up as he frustratedly dusted off his suit. You best consider yourself lucky, young man. Ida paused his dancing at Gentle's words. The gravity of the situation hit him like a truck full of fireworks. He just tried to kill a man. Worse yet, he had a witness. Before Ida could do something to Gentle that he would surely regret later, the elastic hero spoke up. Fear not, young man, for as far as I'm concerned, you were never here. Excuse me? I said I'm willing to let this one slide. It's not fair for a young, strapping boy like yourself to lose out on his dreams of heroism, just because you did something foolish in your teenage years. Believe me, I've been there. He walked over to the nomu and tapped it with his glove, trapping it in a near-impenetrable force field of rubber. Now, if you'll kindly bounce on this, it shall allow you to leave the crime scene before the other heroes arrive. Ida was left stunned at the number 7's willingness to let attempted murder slide. Mr. Gentle, I don't know what to say. A simple thank you would suffice. Now, off you go, old bean. Thank you, sir, Ida said as he bounced out of the alleyway and onto the rooftops, where he disappeared into the night. Once Gentle was left alone, he pulled out his cell phone and dialed a familiar number. La Brava, sorry I lost contact. I found myself cornered by quite the ruffian. You needn't worry, however. In fact, you can let the commission know that the hero killer has been dealt with in a swift and... He glanced at the puddle of blood underneath the nomu. Somewhat gentlemanly manner. Yes, we will be accepting our usual pay. Actually, make it 2 merchandise lines. Izuku slumped as he dragged his feet out of the police station. I never realized police reports could be so... soul-sucking, Kathleen finished. Yeah, they never tell you about that in school, but they do teach you about paperwork, though you'll wish they hadn't. Izuku shuddered at the thought. I can't imagine how big the pile would be for a large-scale attack like this. Yeah, but let's worry about that later. You did a good job for your first patrol. Izuku smiled hopefully. I did? I mean, you saved lives, didn't you? Sounds like a good job to me. She gave him a friendly slap on the back. Are you crying? No, Izuku said as he tried to force down his happy tears. I'm not crying. Whatever you say, kid. Let's just head back. My legs are killing me. Izuku glanced at his watch. I think we just missed the train. Darn it. Guess we're flying. Hope your muscles aren't too sore. Before the pair could take off, a fancy-looking car pulled up to the street in front of them and rolled down its window. Need a ride? Asked Inko. Mom, what are you doing here? Izuku asked. And since when do we have a car? All might let me borrow one of his vehicles to pick you guys up, though I'm not sure why he asked me in particular. Izuku glanced at Kathleen, then back at his mom. He could think of a few reasons. Inko, you're a lifesaver, Kathleen exclaimed as she got into the passenger seat. So says the hero, Inko grinned. Hey, takes one to know one. I can't thank you enough. Oh, it's nothing. I just happen to have a car. No thanks are necessary. Still, I'd like to at least try. Would you like to maybe go out for a coffee? A light flush of red found itself on Inko's cheeks. Yes, thank you very much. Kathleen silently pumped her fist in victory as Izuku bit his lip to prevent himself from squealing in excitement. Wait a minute. Izuku suddenly realized. How did you know where we were? Oh, I saw you on the news, Inko answered. I was on the news? 3 brainless creatures were seen wreaking havoc in Hosu tonight, but thanks to the combined efforts of the heroes in the area, the threat has been detained with minimal civilian injuries. Among these heroes included a surprise appearance from number 1 American hero Star and Stripe, and her first ever intern, Legacy. Doctor, describe the footage on screen, All for One commanded, as his lack of eyes made it impossible to view TV screens. The footage they're playing is of the aforementioned Legacy. He's lifting up an entire building. Green sparks are emanating off his body, and it appears he just turned the entire building into foam. Doctor, leave the room. Right away, Lord. When the doctor left, All for One put the pieces together in his head. Those green sparks and that level of strength could only mean one thing. That the boy had one for all, but him turning the building into foam could only mean another thing. That the boy had new order. There was only one possible explanation. That boy had obtained 2 of the strongest quirks to ever exist. At the revelation, All for One felt an emotion he hadn't felt in nearly 2 centuries. Panic. He shot up from his seat and karate chopped the TV, which exploded into a torrent of blue sparks, though that did little to calm his current predicament. It's fine! It's fine! I can handle this. So what if both blonde buffoons picked up the same successor, and said successor now has unparalleled strength and reality-warping abilities? Oh man, I'm screwed. No, I can't. I can handle this. He knew that was a lie. Tomura was nowhere near ready yet, and even if he was, he'd need at least several months of surgery to be able to inherit his quirk. That was time he didn't have. Okay, Tomura was out the window, but he would still keep him around, if only so that he could gloat to All Might about turning his master's grandchild over to villainy. But right now he had to focus on saving his own hide. All for One clapped his hands together as he walked over to his filing cabinet and sorted through some papers. It's fine. All I need is a plan. Yes, a plan. I'm great at those. I might not be able to steal Legacy's version of New Order, but Star's is free for the taking. All I have to do is get into better shape. Ah, here it is. He pulled out a file pertaining to the quirk of one Kai Chisaki. He had been waiting to make a play for Overhaul for a while now, but he couldn't afford to wait any longer. He needed his injuries healed yesterday. I'll call a spy. That's what I'll do. My second best spy, in fact. All for One nervously chuckled, sweat dripping down his face. All I have to do now is find a way to get the jump on Star. I'll call my second best spy for that. The one with perception blocking quirk. Yes, it's all coming together now. I can do this. But deep down, he knew he couldn't do this. Though, that wouldn't stop him from trying. Tenya Ida didn't know why he felt this way. Ever since he accomplished his goal that night, he thought he would have felt better. But after the high wore off, he just felt off. He didn't want to say worse, he just felt empty. The hero killer's death was never reported on. Almost like the media wanted the public to forget he ever existed. Ida couldn't help but wonder the point of it all. Did he try to kill a man for nothing? Thinking about it, Ida concluded that yes, it was all for nothing. He was angry, frustrated, confused, and hurt. Instead of trying to work through his emotions normally, he went for the most violent option possible. And for what? The death of the hero killer didn't fix his brother's spine. It didn't magically make him a hero again. Tenya had betrayed his own values as a hero for the sake of petty revenge. Could he even call himself a hero at this point? No, he couldn't, which is what led him to the principal's office. Are you sure you'd like to transfer out of the hero course, Mr. Ida? Nezu asked concernedly. Yes, sir, I am. Ida responded, his voice despondent and emotionless. Very well then, I shall respect your decision. Nezu sighed as he signed his name on the paperwork. Just know that if you change your mind, you'll be allowed back into the hero course whenever you wish. Thank you, sir. Ida did his best to fake a smile, knowing his decision was already set in stone and there was no going back for him. But until then, your grades are high enough to allow you into any other course of your choosing. Do you have a preference? I would prefer the business course, if you don't mind. Very well. Nezu pulled out some course transfer paperwork from behind his desk. I'm sorry the hero course didn't work out for you, and I hope you find success in your future endeavors. Ida didn't think the principal had anything to be sorry for. After all, someone like him didn't deserve to be a hero. And that's the end of Chapter 9. I really like this chapter, especially like All For One gaslighting himself into thinking that everything's fine, I can do this, I can beat this kid, surely. Um, I like that. And his just immediate realization and panic over Izuku having both of those already overpowered quirks. But the voices for the vestiges, I'm pretty sure I've gotten those wrong and mixed them up like 20 times so far because I forget what half of them sound like. I kind of get Banjo's and All For One's brother, I should remember the name of, but I just can't keep track of like all the other vestiges and their like names, voices, and personalities. So if they sometimes sound weird or like I mix them up, that's just because I can't forget. That's on me. Sorry. But anyways, I really hope you like this chapter as much as I do. Chapter 10 should be up pretty soon. So patch out.